I'd like to call my next witness, Dale Kuhn. Mr. Kuhn, would you identify yourself and share the perspective from which you'll be speaking?
My name is Dale Kuhn, and I'm representing Veterans for Peace. I think that most of you are aware of the problems that the veterans are having at the current level of funding. It is very, very difficult to get into the system, to the veteran system. It is very difficult to get an appointment, and it's very difficult for them to keep the appointment. When you sign to go into the military, it is the contract that is, we'll say, one way. It's the government way. And they can do anything they want to do with you as long as you've signed. And that is true with the medical system also. It took, in my case, 13 years to get my disability. And I don't think that's quite fair. When I signed, I expected that I would be taken care of if something happened to me. Now, I look at this Cliff idea from two different perspectives. I see it from the veteran's perspective, but I also see it that if the Cliff incident happens, the military budget is going to be cut dramatically. And believe me, if that happens, that will be the first time the military budget has been cut in years, in centuries. And if it is cut, we will never have this opportunity again to maintain the level of military spending that will be put upon us after the cut. It's difficult to leave here without mentioning the lives and the spirits that have been sacrificed. In Iraq, we have lost 110,000 people to 120,000. In November, just this past November, we lost 238 people. And the military in Afghanistan has lost 2,000 since the first of the year, last year, and 20,000 civilians. Now, how in the world can one place a dollar value on recreating a financial system, a marketing system, an educational system in some cases where there was very little in the way of education? But we only look at the dollars that is spent in military hardware, and we do not consider the losses in country in total destruction. Those of us who have seen the ravages of war, understand the damage. And it's very difficult to relate to folks about the damages that incur and that cannot be replaced with dollars. I don't know how to leave this question except vote, or not vote, but write your letters to your congressman and say, protect the veteran, and let's go over the cliff on the other thing. So let's see if we can't get some cuts in military spending. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Kuhn. Our next witness, Ron Faust. Mr. Faust, would you identify yourself and share your perspective?
Yes, my name's Ron Faust. I'm a protest chaplain, peace activist, had a career in ministry. And so partly, one of the things that happened here recently was crossing the line at Whiteman Air Force Base. 3 of us did so, Brian Terrell and Mark Kenny and myself. And we did it partly out of the reasons of, it was a moral reason really, in being more sensitive to the future and what militarism is doing to us. I remember that the judge said, well, what are we going to do, you know, with the trespassing for our B-2 bombers? There's about 19 B-2 bombers that go out for appearance sake and are $1 billion apiece. He was more concerned about that than the human rights or people that would lift up concern about the drones. The drones are very costly and inhibitive. I've always felt that the moral statement of a budget was to reflect and advocate for the poor, be much more sensitive to the welfare of the people. But yet we have thrown our money into the high cost of militarism, and drones are the very seductive next thing of putting a lot of money to make killing easy. That was the reason that we crossed over, was to bring awareness that there are innocent children, innocent victims in this whole kind of military solutions, rather than addressing the needs of social concerns and those kinds of solutions. A Predator drone is one of the bigger drones. The total program in 2011 was $2.38 billion. And for each unit of those drones is $4.83 million. So it's no wonder that in a day that we don't have the Cold War, and a day that we really do not need to have any enemies in this so-called empire, that you know, we are not addressing our militarism. Each year, 60% of it goes for the military, and yet somehow we have this priority that people, Medicare, programs for the poor are taken away from our lives and making it less productive. Just for example, the F-3 fighter. It's a medium-sized missile, but we want to build 2,443 units, and each unit is $237.7 million. It's just obscene, the moral issues that are played out here, and where people state their priorities. We need new values. We need some morality. We need a new way of evaluating and taking a look at our way of living. And yeah, we got to do it.
Thank you, Mr. Faust.